Hello, dear students. Hope you all are doing well. Let us begin with today's video. And today we are going to discuss the chains, food webs, and the energy flow. So let us visualize and recall the previous concepts that the sun is the primary source for our planet. And you can see that most of the sun's energy is reflected back into the space and a few amounts enter the Earth's atmosphere. And that amount is sufficient enough for plants to photosynthesize and in return produce oxygen. Now, let us define these terms. Food chain. What is a food chain? A food chain is a link between or among different biotic factors. These links tell us about the energy flow which is going through this food chain. For example, now remember that we have defined a food chain as a biotic factor, link between a biotic factor. So let us keep this sunlight aside for a few moments and come to these plants. Now, what are these plants? These plants are the producers. These plants are known as the producers. Why they are known as the producers? Because first of all, they produce oxygen. Secondly, they have this glucose. Remember, in the process of photosynthesis, plants also produce glucose along with oxygen. Now, that glucose reacts differently with different minerals to give health to the plant and helps plant to grow. Why plant needs to grow? Well, it's a food source. It's the primary food source. How it's the primary food source? We have already discussed in the previous lecture that without these plants, there would be no life. So when these plants exist, life started to evolve. So these are termed as producers. Vegetations, plants, trees, they are termed as producers. Now, these producers are eaten up by animals, different animals. For instance, cow, sheep. So here's the first link. You can see this is the first link. Now, the animals that eat only vegetation, the animals that eat only vegetation are termed as herbivores. They are termed as herbivores. Now, let us continue the chain. Now, this cow and sheep is eaten up by a lion in a jungle, in a safari. So, these animals that eat only meat, they are known as carnivores. Now you can see this is the second link in our food chain. Now you can see how producers are giving life to this planet. They are helping herbivores to evolve. And in return, these herbivores are helping carnivores to evolve. There is a third link also, we can draw it, and that is the decomposers. What are decomposers? Decomposers are biotic factors that split, that break apart the dead. So they can be bacteria which chemically break apart the leftovers of the carcasses of dead animals. So you can say that these decomposers, they are nature's cleaner. Now we have completed our food chain. The first one, starting off with the producers, ending up with the decomposers, and in between we can call it the consumer one, and this is consumer two. So our food chain is completed. Now let us understand what a food web is. Well, it's really simple. Food web is the link of food chains. A lot of food chains combined together make up a food web. Now, as we know that producers, this is the consumer one, this is the consumer two, ended up with being eaten up by decomposers. So it is a herbivore, and herbivore can be eaten by humans. So we have established a new link for these herbivores. For cow and sheep, lions could also eat cow and sheep. We humans can also eat cow and sheep. One more interesting thing, we humans can also eat vegetation. So, eating up vegetation, eating up meat, we are known as, categorized as omnivores. Biotic living things eating up plants, only vegetation, are herbivores. Only meat, they are known as carnivores. And the ones who eat both